Hello and good day. My name is Tyson Delore. I'm also known as Old School Ty, coming to you from the studio of Paradise Radio 98.1 FM. Today we have a special guest. Let's welcome Chief Erica Beaudin of Cowessess First Nation.
Thank you very much, Ty. Very glad to be here. I'm old school too, so we're going to have a great session.
Awesome, right on. I appreciate you taking the time to speak with me today. I'm looking forward to learning more about the leadership experiences and the strategic vision you have for the nation. This is the first of many meetings, news straight to you from the chambers of Chief and Council. Our plan is to meet every Tuesday and go over the leadership and community updates, progress on ongoing projects, announcements on any new big changes, and important information you need to know. Thank you again for the opportunity, and the floor is yours.
Thank you, Ty. First of all, I want to say thank you and all of your team. The communications have just been absolutely amazing. And, our community events have been so great. They've been, our comms team have been out at the events. We've been taking pictures, videos, and it's just wonderful to be able to no matter where we are as Cowessess people, share in the celebrations of who we are. So I really want to say that I'm getting a lot of positive feedback from our members talking about how much they appreciate all of the amazing communications works that are going out.
Oh, that's great to hear.
So saying that, you guys can't do it alone. We as leadership and, executive leadership, we have to do our part too and give you the content.
Oh, yeah.
And so as part of our external communications and what our band members need and, deserve is an update. And so it's going to be my honor and my pleasure, whether it's myself or a council member, to be able to, on a weekly basis, give an update as to where we are. And even some of these sessions can be call in and question and answer. So we're really looking forward to engaging with membership and being able to give more of an update so that everybody can feel as though they know exactly where Cowessess is at any given moment.
Awesome. That's great to hear. All right, so let's get right into it. What do we have for leadership updates?
Okay, so leadership updates. We are working very hard. We have such an amazing team. I'm really proud of our team. We come from all walks of life, and all the walks of life that we have are so valid, and they are really bringing forth different forms of expertise to the table. And so there's a lot of different offering different perspectives and a lot of different discussions around the table. And at the end of the day, when we make a decision, everybody has a voice, and everybody, brings forth our members' voices. We are also guided by our committees, and so as most of the people know, we have recently instituted committees in all of the different areas of responsibility. And so our council members who are responsible for those areas have been very, very busy bringing the committees together so that we get the voice of the people that guide us at our governance table. And then from our governance table, we're able to give direction to operations, which really drives not only the programs and services, but it also drives, how we have to grow and where we're going to grow. So the committees as well as the counselors are very important in all of those different areas of responsibility, because I just spoke about operations, but when we hear from the people, we hear that voice, and our strategic direction comes from that voice. And that is the power of the committees. That's the power of accessing us through communications, giving us calls, text messages, inboxes. And I guess that's a long answer for a short question of how leadership's doing. I know I'm going to address one of the big questions that members have, which is what's happening with our land claims, what's happening with our 1907 surrender, and what does Cowessess think about with our cows and plows. Otherwise, I guess it's known as cows and plows, but it's an agriculture benefit specific land claim. And so I guess the positive and the negative is that first of all, with our 1907 land claim is that we have unofficially agreed to a number with the government of Canada that has been long-standing. We are the last in probably 30 or 35 years of a governance team or governance teams that have handed the baton over of the land surrender claim. When we had our land surrender or our land taken from us in 1907. And that's going to benefit our people both individually as well as collectively when we finally receive the letter stating that the unofficial amount that that we agreed to has now become formalized, and we can go to the people and say to the people, because really all we're doing is negotiating as a governance team. It's our people who decide, first of all, to accept the money, the amount that we agreed upon, and then secondly, the options. There'll be options within that for both individual as well as collective benefit, and how that money sits in trust. So it's very much, while it seems top heavy right now, as a negotiating team with chief and council as well as government of Canada. Um, once again, we're the last in the line of chief and councils that will be hopefully looking at this, but it's going to be the membership that decides that. Now the news is when. So that's the what and the why, or the why, but the when is what I have been told by the minister himself, Minister Gary himself, is that Cowessess is very, very close to completion. We are expecting probably in the fall to get the letter stating that there is an acceptance. Now, we can only say that we can move to the next step once we receive that letter. So, Cowessess, as well as the negotiating team for Government of Canada, we have done all that we can do to this point. It's a significant number, of which I unfortunately can't disclose to the membership right now because we're under an NDA, or non-disclosure agreement, of that amount right now while it goes through Treasury Board processes. But what I can say is that it is an incredibly significant amount that will put Cowessess in a position where we have never received that type of money before. And we probably, until we really put together our plans for own source revenue, we will never receive that amount of money again, especially from the government. So there's a lot of planning that we've been trying to do as a governance team, as an operations team, in getting operations and governance ready in order to be able to work with membership and to have membership benefit the most that it can. So right now, exactly where it is that it is in process. Now, summer stalls it, just to let everybody know, because um, Parliament sits, or it doesn't sit. They go home for the summer. So we're looking at it being most likely the fall, where it's going to go through that final process on their part in being able to give us a formal offer. And then it'll be up to us after that in order to have the membership decide if we're going to accept it and what we're going to do with it. Now, that's the 1907.
Okay.
Cows and plows. And everybody loves to talk about cows and plows.
Oh, yeah.
So what we have done is, because there's some questions, there's some mystery and secrecy when it comes to nations, when in working with the government on the cows and plows or agricultural benefits, because it is a specific claim and it goes through the specific claim process, such as our 1907. And so what we have done is we have submitted uh, a I guess, a letter as well as a BCR to the Government of Canada indicating that we are going to be submitting a claim, and we have received correspondence back stating that they have received our BCR and letter, and that is where that is at right now. Other than my informal talks with the minister, with Minister Gary, is that the ag bans can or the cows and plows can move fairly quickly. Now, it being a specific claim, it'll go through the exact same process as the 1907. There's going to have to be negotiation with the ag bends as well as other indexing claims such as treaty annuities, if we decide to put any claim in for that. If we look at any sort of claim for headman salaries, there's different types of smaller indexing claims, but right now we're just concerned about the 1907 as well as the cows and plows. It'll be up to the people themselves, like our people, going through that specific claims process. There's going to be a negotiation. What I will say is that from our understanding with the cows and plows, it is a mathematical formula. And so from that mathematical formula, what we will have to do as a negotiation team or negotiating team is work with the government in seeing where there's room to maneuver within that mathematical equation to see how we can perhaps get more from that. Now, once we finish that process, like I said, Minister Gary said that it can be a very quick process and a very quick turnaround because that amount does not have to go to Treasury Board. That can actually stay within his department. So it's a simplified process, but it's a process that we have to go through that's very similar. It just doesn't have to go through Canada's longer process of going through Treasury Board, which is part of their parliamentary process, which has to wait until they get back to Parliament and they sit again. So, the long and short of the cows and plows is that, it's in there. It's still at its very, very earliest, and even if and when, um, we agree to an amount with Canada, it will be our membership who decides if if that is an amount that they're satisfied with or we're satisfied with, and also secondly, the options within there will be how it's spent and how individually and collectively we benefit as a nation. So,
Wow,
there we go.
that's very interesting information, and thank you for that update. Do we have any community updates?
Well, kids are out, so I just want to, first of all, say, to the little kiddies, enjoy your summer, and I hope every all the kids have a really great summer. But also for our drivers out there, especially in our community here, just to remember that, especially in our subdivisions, we have a lot of kids that are out there. Please slow down. Please be mindful of other drivers. There's more kids that are in vehicles during the day because parents are driving with families, so slow down, understand that we have clouds of gravel, especially when we don't have rain, and to be very mindful of that. The second thing that I will say is that for our parents to be mindful of our usage of ATVs and different types of other off-road vehicles. First of all, for kids, to ensure that our kids are safe. And that's wearing helmets, that's, being very mindful and teaching kids, the right where they're supposed to go on the roads, stay off the fields. We lease our lands as well as we have our 4C lands, that we benefit from as a collective. And we don't want anyone driving through for hunting and or the ATVs going through any of the fields. So just to be mindful of that. I guess the what we're really gearing up for, and first of all, I want to thank our powwow committee doing an amazing job. They met just yesterday afternoon. Everybody had a long day, but still yet our powwow committee came together at 5 o'clock, and we're very much planning a wonderful 150th celebration for our not only our membership, but those that want to come and celebrate with us. And that is, of course, on August 13th, 14th, and 15th. Our treaty day is August 13th. So remember to come down and celebrate with us Treaty Day on the 13th and exercise your treaty right to right now your $5 until we do some more work as a collective, as a nation, in terms of the inflation on that $5, and perhaps one day us actually getting the true equivalent of that. Secondly, just to put on people's radar, is Treaty 4 Week. Like I said again, Treaty 4 was signed in 1874, so we are at 150 years. There's amazing things that are going on during the Treaty 4 Week celebration, and Cowessess, along with Kakawishtahow, Ochapowace, and Zagame, us as Crooked Lake Agency, I guess if you want to call it that, we are hosting the powwow down at the Treaty 4 grounds on September 14th and 15th. And we're super, super excited about that, working together collectively, us four nations, in the powwow. In putting on that. And I think that it's, we're well known, our four nations are well known for putting on incredible powwows. And
Yeah.
the fact that the four of our nations are coming together to put on the Treaty 4 powwow, first of all, it's an honor and to serve our people, but also like in recognition of our ancestors. But it's also all about recognizing the strength of our communities, and we have strong nations and communities around here.
That's very exciting. 150 years.
Yes.
That's that's quite the milestone.
Yes, and it's up to us first and foremost. When treaty was signed, it was between the Crown, the First Nations, and Creator. And so it's a covenant. It's a covenant that was brought to us as the original peoples of the land and the newcomers, and Creator blessed that. And so when we talk about treaty, it's up to all of us not only to understand treaty, but to also ensure that it lives on. And, celebration is a wonderful way for us to learn about treaty and to celebrate treaty, and for us to understand how we have to do our part to ensure that treaty is always maintained here on what is now Canada.
Wow, that's for sure something to look forward to. It's gonna be a big one, eh?
For sure.
All right, so I guess ongoing projects.
Ongoing projects. Well, we have a lot on. We just finished, before I came in here, we just finished a 4C farms and ranch. We are putting together and have been putting together a 5-year plan. And so this is the first year that Cowessess has with our 4C Farms and Ranch, well, I should say our 4C Farms, this is the first year that we have done it ourselves, as opposed to hiring somebody to come and do it for us.
Right on.
So we are just looking at building capacity. We're excited to have invested in the machinery. We're investing in our people, in having our people work for us with the 4C Ranch. We're really excited for year 2 and moving into the schools and having opportunity for kids to, or our youth to learn about the future of farming. Um, so that's very much part of it. Our culture and language unit, they've been going for a year now, and we're starting to see some deliverables. We're starting to see, more opportunity for identity and culture of who we are as Cowessess people, and also the reintroduction of language, whichever language that a person chooses to speak besides English. So those are definitely some ongoing projects. What is really close to us, because it deals with our children and youth as well as sovereignty, is our Mio Pamatsuan Act and child welfare, C-92, if you will. And right now there is the final settlement agreement that is part of long-term reform. Now, this is part of C92 considerations. It's almost like a sister or a close cousin that we have to look at long-term reform because that agreement with Canada, it will impact Cowessess and our ability to care for our most vulnerable children and families and young people for the next 10 years. And so not only are we working on ensuring that our Meopomatsuan Act fits within what is our true governance of Cowessess, as well as the prevention, protection, and aftercare of our vulnerable families, youth, children, youth, and families, but also now we're looking at an additional final settlement agreement of it's called, which is part of long-term reform. So there's a lot there that is on the go. We are not working in isolation. We are working with our allies and partners across what is now Canada, and we're trying to all do it together, and so that we could bring all of our minds together. And at the end of the day, it is Cowessess and it is our approach. And I'm really proud to say that we're considered leaders in C92 and the impacts of doing it both as the first nation to do it, but also in a way to progress to ensure that we do it correctly. So
Awesome.
I could go on and on. We have so many exciting things that are going on, and I'm excited to talk about a couple other projects next Tuesday as well.
Okay, cool. Well, that pretty much wraps everything up. Again, thank you for your time and coming down to the studio and giving us the information and updates. Do you have any closing words?
No, except for people, take this time out. This is we have a very short summer. So for our Cowessess people, whether you're in our community or across the globe, take some time out for your families, take some time out for yourselves. Release, relax, find a way to de-stress and to do what you need to do to take care of yourself. It's a tough world out there. We acknowledge that it's a tough world, and that's why we're working as hard as we can so that we can put together that plan and execute that plan so that we can make lives a little bit easier for our membership. So take care, be safe, look out for each other, and really excited for the future of Cowessess and that being all of us.
For
Thank you.
sure. And stay hydrated.
Yes, and wash your hands. COVID is still out there.
Yeah, that's for sure. All righty. This is Old School Ty and Chief Erica. Have a great day.
Thank you.